Today's episode is going to focus on helping you decide if you're a good fit for SEO school or not. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. Today, we're going to talk about whether or not you're a good fit for SEO school. And I have not explicitly gone through what in my mind feels like a good fit for SEO school. So I am excited to do that. So with that being said, before we jump in, we'll do personal business updates. Personal stuff, realistically, nothing, I shouldn't say nothing, but just going through, feeling better, if you will. I know that if you have been around for the podcast Delio since last March, you know that I have gone through the ringer with like rosacea and whey protein allergy and all that jazz. And I think I'm finally on the other side of it. And that's, a year from when I originally started having issues. I will say that, if you've been around since like 2024, 2023, you will know that I am like, my skin is extremely sensitive. I will say I think yesterday, hand sanitizer touched my face and I have a little bit of a rash. So that's kind of annoying. But because I thought I was kind of past my face having random rashes like that because something touched me. But apparently I am sensitive to something because it's in one area of my face. And I'm like, something must have touched me there. So anyway, long and the short, we're good. Volleyball's good. Lifting is going really well. I will say I've been using the Whoop diddy doo dah. I got one. So I have the Chase Reserve card, which I love the Chase card, and that's where all my points are by recommendation of Shantae. And one of the offers, so it's not a cheap card, it's a yearly fee, but one of the offers is a Whoop band. So they actually credited me $300 and some odd to get a Whoop band, and it actually came at the perfect time because I've been trying to figure out some stuff health-wise. Like I still have some issues going on that I'm like, what is it coming from? And like having data is really helpful. And I will say that having the data that I have is really, really nice. So I've learned, the stress and strain that comes with volleyball, that comes with riding the Peloton, that comes with lifting, and my sleep is really good. And just like having data is so nice because I can see it. And it actually prompted me to return something else that the providers that I was working with told me to get. So I should do a whole episode on this, but I'll do a really quick thing. So you have to decide if something is for you or not. And something that has never been for me, and I need to do more research onto the different types of meditation, but something that has never been for me is the classic meditation where you're like sitting down, not doing anything, and like you're in your thoughts. That has never been helpful for me. And I know that there's some people who will be like, well, Lex, you can practice it and you can get better at it. I can assure you there are also folks on the other side of things. And if you're one of those people, let me know because I still need to learn more about this. But there are different types of people or different ways to meditate, which obviously that is a thing, but different people meditate in different ways more effectively. So one of the things that I was prescribed, if you will, by the facility because they wanted to like increase my heart rate variability or like see where the problem is, whatever. But and I loved the recommendation. I ordered this device that they requested, and I just found that I was so resistant to doing it. And it's not because I didn't want to, but it was because it was like a guided meditation thing. And I respect I totally respect it. I love that people can do that. It is just not for me, man. I returned the device and I'm finding some really good data with my heart rate variability, my resting heart rate and all that stuff with my Whoop band. And I'm just like taking time to actively do like breath work exercises rather than like a guided meditation. I was called, oh my God, what is the actual thing called? Heart rate. I don't know. I think it's great for some people, or it's definitely great for some people. It's like backed by research and all that jazz. And I was like, I'm struggling and this device was not cheap. So I'm like, and it was outside of the Whoop band. So I was like, I don't think I can do both. So what I'm trying to get down to the bottom of is you have to figure out what works for you. And if something doesn't work for you, it's okay to like not fit yourself into a box. And it's okay to accept that that specific thing is not the best fit for you. It's kind of like when you go to a provider and, you know, you don't really get along with them, but your friend does. Like, it's okay to decide that that person just isn't for you. So I have really been loving the Whoop band and I'm getting so much data and it's helpful because I get it. Like, and also you should know I'm a data person. So I need to like not do this. I committed to a year in my brain. I'm like, I'm going to do this for a year, but like, I can't do the whole data thing all the time. It's why I have trouble with tracking food and whatnot. It's because I become obsessive and I am kind of like, it's nice because I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, I feel like crap today and I'm not really feeling too good. And it'll be like, oh, your recovery is at 75%. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then, you know, I go to volleyball and I always wondered, why the heck am I so tired after volleyball? Like, volleyball's not a super, it's not a high intensity sport. It's now that I see it, it's definitely like a zone 2, zone 3 sport. And sometimes you get into zone 4 and 5 very, very rarely, very rarely. But I was like, no wonder why I'm so tired because I'm doing like 3 hours of zone 2 at the same time in the heat, like, of course. And like, I don't know. Anyway, the Whoop band has been really nice. I chose Whoop over the Oura Ring, 1, because it was a chase benefit, but 2, because I'm able to actively track different metrics during my workout. That was not part of the Oura band, the Oura Ring. I look that up because I genuinely don't like wearing stuff on my wrist. It's just not fun while I work. And also like sensory needs. So I have like a sensory resistance to things on my wrist. So I don't love wearing it, but between the Oura Ring and the Whoop band, I was seeing that the Whoop is more, and I say Whoop instead of Whoop. I don't know if it's Apple, tomato. I just said apple, tomato. But anyway, I find that the data, or I read that the data is more appropriate for like athletic stuff. And I was having the most issues while I was playing volleyball on hot days. So I was like, I think I need the active measurement of the status of my body during those times. That's why I chose the Whoop band. And I like I said, I really like it. It's the sensory issue. I'm hoping I can get past that eventually. But anyway, I really like it. And if you've ever wondered, like, would I like to see this data? I would say if you're a data person and you would appreciate it, then yeah, like go for it because it really is helpful. And it really does show me that I feel good here and I don't feel good here. And it shows me a why. I need to look into more of like zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 training. Like physical therapy school doesn't teach you that. At least my physical therapy school did not go deep into like zone 1 through zone 5 training. So I do need to read a little bit more into that because that is something I do want to start playing with a little bit more. But anyway, really fun. So that's personal stuff. Business stuff. I updated my discovery call process. I mentioned that I'm going to do that last week. The only folks that I am booking discovery calls for are custom website design. And, so if you're a new client, the process is now to submit a contact form. I have a contact form on my website. There are multiple questions because it is resistance to contact me. That is done on purpose. I want the most information up front so that I don't need to make guesses and so that I can make an accurate decision of whether or not we should meet on a call or if I'm good to go ahead and book with you before I meet with you. So if you're a new client, you need to submit the contact form instead of book a discovery call unless you're wanting custom website design. As of right now, I have one date in June And then my next custom website design date will be in August, September, and November, I believe. I might have one in October, but I don't know. So if you're looking to work with me, I think I have 5 dates left for 2026 for custom website design. And I'm in the middle of a decent transition. Like I will say I'm transitioning some stuff. I mentioned SEO School and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I did do a change in SEO School, and I also changed my pinned post on my Instagram to just be like, here's my 2026 update, because things are changing and moving and I can help you, but also point blank, I don't have space for everyone. I am full. I am at capacity. I do not want more. The folks who I am working with right now, I'm giving, I do a lot of different things, and the folks who are my current clients definitely get access to all of those services before other folks. So I am full, period. So the only dates that I have set aside for my website design are the dates that I have open. And outside of that, I'm just at capacity. So again, I have wait lists. There are ways to work with me outside of that. Courses, I have coaching calls, very limited availability, but I do have coaching calls. I'm really grateful because, 2 years ago, realistically, it was 2 years ago, I was spending most of my day on Zoom calls, and Zoom fatigue is real. Zoom drain is definitely real. It's just like in-person care, honestly. And so to do less of that is really helpful for my brain, because I'm able to really get in the zone, if you will, of done for you execution. And it feels really good for my body, my brain, and I can work in a way that works for me. So, I will work for a solid 25, 30 minutes. I take a 10-minute break. I do the same thing over again. So, and that's just what works for my body, my brain. And I'm really grateful that I'm able to do that. And a lot of this, so moving over to SEO School now, SEO School, I changed the way that I'm running it, this cohort, based on feedback that I got from last cohort, but also what I know to be true, just based on running it for 9 rounds now. So this is the 10th round of SEO School, and I have the new curriculum all done, and it's in SEO School, obviously, because it is re-recorded and finished and all the things. So SEO School is going to be opening for enrollment, and I did change the way that I'm running the course, and I was deciding with one of my friends. I texted one of my friends and I was just like, look, if you're a business owner, you know that there are far and few between to find a person that you can just like openly say, I am not feeling great right now, and I don't know what it is, but I'm not feeling great. And like, I need to make a change, and I don't know what that change is. Right now, for me, I had mentioned last week that SEO School is not my signature service. My signature service is one-on-one done-for-you services. So what that means is SEO School needs to fit within that ecosystem, not the other way around. And in my brain, I was trying to fit my done-for-you services in the ecosystem of SEO School, which is so silly to me. So at this point now that I look back and I'm like, why was I doing that? So for SEO School, this cohort is going to run without disruption. So what that means is I was going to push SEO School. I have been telling people it's going to open. So I am a woman of my word. I'm not going to just throw people into the ocean and call it a day. So what I did was I'm going to run SEO School. The slight change is that the Q&A calls are going to be 1 hour long, and it'll be 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. PT Wednesdays, mostly the first Wednesday except for July. And that'll be the Q&A. We don't need the 2 hours. Like, I can say with full certainty after this past cohort, the questions that I would get are it's literally not even close to the amount of questions that I used to get because I redid the curriculum. And I know that it can be done in an hour. So the community access will still be there. And then the Q&A calls will be 1 hour long. Now, I'm fitting SEO School in the context of my done for you services. So when I was talking to that friend, I was like, I don't think I have capacity to run this. Like, I'm feeling like I'm at capacity. I don't have And then I looked back and I was like, well, where did I spend my energy in SEO school last cohort? This past cohort, most of the energy was spent on redoing all of the emails, all of the curriculum, scheduling all the stuff. Like, to be honest with you, most of that stuff can be automated now. So yesterday, I spent most of the day automating everything that has to do with SEO school. So all of that stuff, the only thing I really need to do is show up to those Q&A calls. And obviously that's a huge thing. I am by myself. Don't forget, that's not like me. And then I outsource the post-processing of things. So I go to the calls, I answer the questions, I teach a little bit. And then at the end of those calls, I do all the post-processing of the Zoom recording, get it up to the portal, yada, yada, yada. So that's going to be my main job, which is exactly what I wanted, as well as answering the questions within the Q&A call group. That will help me because then I'm not updating modules, doing all the stuff that I was doing last cohort. That definitely was a lot of the time, not time suck, but where my time went. And that was when I thought about it, I was like, that is where I spent my time. And that is what felt like a lot to me. It wasn't SEO school in general. It was just like what I needed to do while I was re-releasing the material. And that's not unknown to me, like, of course, but when you're in luteal phase and you have PMDD and you are just miserable as shit for no reason, and you look around and you're like, man, I'm so grumpy today. Why? You look for reasons. And I had taken the time to just sit and think, like, what is it? What do I actually need out of this? And I came to the conclusion. Now, here's what's going to go on with SEO school in the future. I don't know exactly. I will not be doing an active launch for it in the fall though. And the reason being is because I am probably going to transition the course to not have the same level of support. It'll be a support in my mind. What I'm envisioning is there will be a support group, like meaning 6 months access to the Q&A group. There aren't going to be, I don't think, dedicated calls for 6 months. It will just be the Q&A. Now, again, I haven't solidified this. I don't know, but I am doing one launch a year. So because I'm transitioning to one launch a year, I'm not going to run it again this fall. I'm going to skip this fall and then skip spring of 2027 and launch it in fall of 2027, which does mean that the course is going to be closed for a year and a half. And I know that sounds like, why would you do that? Again, it's one of those things where it has to fit in my current ecosystem. And in my mind, I may switch around. So I'm very much so in the process of deciding what I'm going to do. I may do a self-led option in the fall / next spring. I don't know. Because that also is a lot on my plate. Even though it's self-led, it's still a lot of things to put into place. I may turn it to be fully evergreen instead of having live launches. Again, I don't know, but what I do know is that the way that the course is run right now is not going to be done in the same way again. It's just not going to be because, like I said, I'm fitting SEO school in the context of my business. Now, that doesn't mean your results are going to change because, again, I am fully confident that the folks who showed up to the live calls, and I think they would agree with this. I haven't personally asked them, so I can't put words in their mouth here, but I do not believe that anything that they asked me on the live calls could not have been asked in the group. And I also know that if they never showed up to the live calls, they would still have success in the course. Because I know that to be true. I know there were some questions that I was like, oh, that's a good question. It's outside of the curriculum, but I will answer it type of thing. But the logistical information and what you get from the course and the goal of the course, because of the redone curriculum, it's all there. I know it's all there. So even if I was to disappear off this earth, you would still be able to know everything you need to know if you watch the course material. So with all of that being said, I'm excited about it. This will be the last round that is run the way that SEO School is currently run. And I can't make any promises about future cohorts because, again, I've done the flipperoo in my brain where this is now fitting in the context of my done for you services and not the other way around, which does make a big difference energetically. And it does make a difference in requirement wise, as far as like, what do I actually need to make happen? What do I not need to make happen? What makes sense? So all of that said, that is what's going on with SEO School tomorrow. So if you listen to this episode today, which would be Monday, March 16th, if you listen to the episode today on the day it releases, tomorrow, March 17th, you will, Tuesday, March 17th, there will be an email that goes out to the waitlist with the details for like early action bonuses, what the dates are, all the information. So if you are interested in getting on the SEO School waitlist, there's going to be a link in the show notes. You will save money by being on the wait list. And I think the bonuses are going to be really good this cohort. I always say that. I feel like my bonuses continue to get better just because I'm like, this would be really helpful. So I do believe that the bonuses are going to be really freaking good this cohort. And I'm really excited because I also have like if you're within the first, I think I'm doing the first 3 or the first 5 people to enroll. I can't remember which one I chose. Then you get coaching call with me, which that is going to be, I do think that is one of the most valuable things ever, because now you get like one-on-one, well, how can I help you? You can get that in the Q&A calls, and like other folks can attest to that. Like it is very personalized in those calls, but sometimes it can be helpful just to get on a call and get my opinion on things for your specific situation. And we can go through, and it's just, again, no red tape coaching. So I'm really excited about that. Okay. Now I'm just reading my notes here. I think I covered all the things I wanted to cover. When it comes, so I had mentioned this episode, I'm going to be talking about whether or not SEO School is a fit for you, because I get the question a lot of, am I someone who should be taking this? Now, there are 2 different people. Realistically, there are lots of different people, but 2 of the main groups that I see take SEO School are the business owner who is in the newer stages of business, and they just want to make sure that they understand what SEO is so that they can start implementing it on their own, because they have the time and they want to make sure they start from the ground up and that they build it as soon as they start, seeing people or relatively quickly into their business. They're not going to wait for years to get involved in this. And the other person is the person who is maybe they're further along in their business, but they're still doing stuff on their own, and they value understanding the process and they value understanding what's going on. Now, I relate this to, when I was early on in my PT practice, I wanted to know what was going on and what was happening. I wanted to know how to do the things, because the worst case in my mind is someone that you hire either bamboozles you or they essentially, just go away. And I think that those 2 things are really scary, because now you're kind of left high and dry in a way. And if you're bamboozled, oftentimes you're out money. So when I built this course, one of the people that I had in mind was the person who just wants to understand what's going on so that they're unable to be bamboozled. I have seen that this is a huge problem, and it's a huge problem in SEO. It's a huge problem in ads. People don't understand things. Folks like health and wellness practitioners don't understand things, and people take advantage of that. And I will say that there is a huge example that I will not go deep into, but I will tell you that if you are not a main website provider, just know that your SEO will never be as good as someone who is on a well-known website provider that has the ability for blogging and full optimization. And like I see this all the time, people are like, get this website platform and do this thing. And it is just not a good idea, because at the end of the day, or like, we're going to show you SEO success with this person. I can like full disclosure, like I know that you need to be on a website platform, and your website needs to have a specific structure, and you need, especially if you're in like a busy place, you need to have blogging content. Like it all helps you. And if you aren't able to do all those things, like not good. So a lot of people, when I originally made this course, I was like, I want to make this for me. When I was first learning SEO and I was going into all this SEO stuff, I can tell you right now, and I tell the story in one of my sales emails, I'm just like, I looked around and there was nothing specific to healthcare. And it was all based on if you're going to hire a marketing team, and everything was written in language that if I didn't already understand tech, there was no way to like implement it. And I was like, I need to create something so that people like me have a resource, because this is crazy. This is literally crazy. You couldn't even implement this if you tried, because you have to spend, months and months and months deciphering, is this fake? Is this real? Like, what's going on? And that was why SEO School was even created in the first place. So if you're one of those people who just wants to know what's going on and you don't want to mess around on Google and try to figure it out yourself, it's a great fit for you, because I do boil everything down into exactly what you need to know. That does not mean the course is short. That does not mean the course is simple, because the thing is, and this is the other person, if you are not someone who's going to dive in and like wants to learn, then it's not for you, because you need to want to learn this stuff. And I understand there's a difference between being like, I want to go eat a chocolate cookie or a chocolate chip cookie, and I want to learn SEO. I understand there are different levels of excitement here, type 1 and type 2 fun. SEO School is type 2 fun. Like, it is type 2 fun because 2 years from now, after you implement the things, you're going to see big results. And if you don't do that at all, you're not going to see anything. So it is like an investment account. The sooner you start, the sooner you get benefit. And, putting the work in now will benefit you 2 years down the road. And it's one of those things where, I just, for lack of better terms, if you are not someone who wants to put that work in, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and tell you that I boil everything down into like, no, it takes 5 minutes to do this stuff. And the other thing too is, and you have to understand this, that SEO is not just like change this title, change this image. It has to do with everything across your business. And getting people onto your website, just because we get people there does not mean they're going to convert if you don't do things correctly on your website too. So it is for that person who wants to really learn this stuff and also integrate everything into one. It's not just the technical components. And I think folks get a little caught up in like, well, how techie is this going to be? And if you are someone who, yes, can push buttons on the computer, I help you push all the buttons. Like, I will help you do all that stuff. But if you're someone who's like, I don't really want to push buttons, I don't really want to learn, I don't really care to know what's going on, then SEO School probably isn't for you. Like, I don't want to have someone in the course who, ultimately just doesn't care about the material, of course, but also someone who's unwilling to push buttons, because there are going to be things you're going to have to change on your website, things that you should do. Now, that you're going to learn, and I want you to be able to do those things. Now, there's another flip side. I have plenty of people who join the course who have a website designer or a manager or, a tech person on their team, and they just make the list of things that they want changed. And that's huge. I think the ability to make the list and understand what these things are is huge. And again, it makes you unable to be bamboozled. And in my mind, I just see it so much, people getting taken for their money. And I'm like, this would have never happened if you knew to look for this stuff. And I don't blame you for not knowing. There are things you should not know, because that's not what you went to school for. It's not stuff that you are required to learn. But to get taken advantage of, that's obviously really unfortunate. So that is another person who's really good for SEO School, who really wants to learn the stuff, understand what's going on, not be bamboozled, knows how to push buttons, wants to push buttons, might be a little bit scared to push buttons, but feels confident that if they're given direction, they're able to push the buttons. And obviously, this is also for the person who is, in my mind, planning to either outsource it in the future, again, so they know what's going on, or the person who may be a clinic owner and is transitioning from patient care to doing most of the back-end marketing stuff. This is an essential element. I think that I actually just had a question the other day from, who was it? Was it a SEO School student or Inner Circle? It was an Inner Circle. My SEO Inner Circle, my membership community that you can go into after you finish SEO School. Inside the SEO Inner Circle, one of the members was talking about workshops and how they're so burnt out on workshops, and like people don't necessarily always show up. They're smaller. They're just tired from hosting them. And, she was wondering what it looks like to just like not do them anymore and rely on Google and word of mouth. And because Google is in place, she can do that. So if you're a clinic owner who is looking to optimize your marketing and optimize your time and do less of those in-person workshops, if you have Google working for you, you don't need to do as many of these workshops because the people who are going to find you are just going to find you on Google. And I say that I'm not saying it's going to be the same people who came to your workshops that would find you. Probably not. But let's just say you get 2 people that attend a workshop or 5 people that attend a workshop. I can't tell you how many workshops I hosted for the clinic. And, there might be a patient that comes out of it, but 9 times out of 10, a patient didn't come out of it. And the patient someone may or may not contact down the road, but most people didn't become patients because of these free workshops. So yes, but no. And I know how draining that can be because you're leaving your house. They're oftentimes after work hours. You're doing it if you have kids, your kids are at home and you'd probably rather be at home. So to do less of those is really ideal. And if you're transitioning as a business owner to doing the marketing stuff, the SEO component can very well easily be done by you, even if you need a little bit of help with the website side first, and then you can just implement the SEO stuff afterward. I'm thinking of one guy who books calls with me every once in a while. He actually didn't take SEO school formally, but he books calls with me and we just go through here's what to implement, here's what to do, go do this thing. And he's able to do that. If you take SEO school, you will understand I have to go do box 1, box 2, box 3, and then you go do that thing, right? And you implement it. And even if you can't actually put it on your site, or even if you can't actually edit the page, you can then write the content, change the content, and give that to your website editor. That is fully appropriate and what a lot of people do, because I understand some people don't want to edit their website. Some people don't know how. And yes. But the stuff that goes on those pages and the stuff that is written on your website, that is fully up to you. And SEO School can help you really narrow that down, especially with the content side and creating content and blogs, etc. So all of that being said, if you feel like those are you and any of those are you, the people that I typically attract in my audience are the people who are the DIYers who want to know what they're doing and they want to know what's going on and they want to implement themselves. Sometimes what ends up happening is they implement themselves for a year to a year and a half, and then they say, you know what, I'm done. And then they decide to outsource it. At the time that they decide to outsource it, they already know what's going on. So when they do outsource, they're not bamboozled. They know what to ask for. They know what things include, what things mean. So then when they hire, they know what they're getting and what they're not getting. And then that person can then decide, do I want to hire the person I'm talking to or not? And here's what I'm going to get if I do hire them. And then they're able to outsource that accordingly. But if something happens, they're also able to take it back over, which in my opinion is super, super empowering should, you want to feel that way. So those are the things that I would just ask yourself. Are you that person? Do you fit in those boxes when it comes to SEO? And if you're someone who can genuinely say, you know what, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to learn. I don't really care what's going on. I don't have any sort of capacity to do it, or I don't need to come up on Google. I would argue everyone needs to come up on Google. But if you're in a position where you're like, I don't need to come up on Google, fine. Then you probably are not a good fit for SEO School, and no harm, no foul, no sweat. Obviously, I always want you to be honest with yourself and only enroll and join in things that feel really good for you and that you feel like you're going to get something out of. Okay. I believe that's all I've got for you. I, again, will drop the link to join the waitlist in the show notes. If you join after Monday and after Tuesday morning, you will get the SEO tip 1, but you'll get it the week after. So you'll get it next Tuesday when SEO tip number 2 goes out. So you'll get both 1 and 2 at the same time. And if you choose to get on the wait list, just know that you're going to be last cohort 10 to have the SEO School support and layout that currently exists. And I am pretty excited about it. I think it'll be really good because, change is always necessary and giving space is always necessary. And this change up after this cohort will definitely be really exciting for me, a different look, if you will. And I'm excited to go out with the most support. And yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited to make this happen, this cohort, and excited to see where it goes and what this next cohort does. I just see after this last cohort with all the new content, I see everything just go in such a positive direction that, I'm just really pumped to see it continue. All right, friends, thank you so much for listening. I will catch you next time.